everybody, my name is Erica and it has been a very long time since I filmed a booktube video. Am I coming back? Hopefully, but I also don't want to force myself because sometimes this gets exhausting. But it's been so long and I really miss filming YouTube videos, so I'm hoping to keep this as a regular thing. I'm going to start by saying this video is probably going to be very rambly. I did not jot down any notes for this because I just really miss filming and decided to jump right into it, so hopefully it's okay. I don't know, a little nervous to be diving back in, but I'm also really excited because I just have really missed filming YouTube videos. I've been still reading a lot. So this video is going to be me, first of all, kind of catching up on life, what's been going on, why I stopped filming, sort of. I'm also going to be chit-chatting about my favorite books of 2025, so let's just get right into it. So I stopped filming back in like the beginning of 2023. I filmed like a Valentine's Day video and then I just stopped. But part of that was because one, my battery died in my DSLR and I finally got new batteries. I'm actually filming on my vlogging camera though right now because I just filmed an audition and I didn't feel like switching it all out. Anyway, my DSLR finally has new batteries, so I'm definitely using that. Oh, also my laptop definitely went kaput. It was not connecting to the internet anymore, so I really started not being motivated because when I filmed auditions or even this, I would have to edit them on my laptop, which I could do, but I couldn't actually like transport it, you know, into YouTube from my laptop. So I'd have to like download it onto a flash drive and then I'd have to upload it at the library or at work, and it was just really hard to find motivation when I was struggling like that. I barely even wanted to film self-tapes anymore for my auditions. It was a struggle. My wonderful parents actually got me a laptop last year for Christmas, so I told myself I was going to get back into filming YouTube videos, but I did not. Another big reason I stopped filming, this is a dumb reason, don't ever let this happen. I actually got into my first real relationship in May of 2023. So not like right at the beginning, so I still could have been posting, but I wasn't. We were not like long distance, like we just lived like an hour and a half away from each other. But you know, that's kind of a long commute when you're a city gal and you don't have a car. A lot of my weekends were spent hanging out with her instead of like filming and whatnot. Like I really fell off the wagon in terms of like filming auditions, filming YouTube videos, all of that. Like it was just really hard. I was very happy at that time, but then we broke up and like obviously, you know, that's a whole long story I'm not going to get into. It happens, you know, whatever, life goes on. It took me probably like a year and 3 months or something to finally feel happy again being single. That's just a whole nother long story that we're not going to get into, but just kind of saying why I stopped filming. It just was a conglomeration of things, lack of motivation, my equipment was being annoying, relationship stuff, all of that. But we are back and hopefully better than ever. I'm hoping to keep this going. I don't know. I told myself last year I was going to restart my YouTube channel and then I didn't. So, yeah. So now we're going to start chit-chatting about books. I actually read a pretty good amount of books in 2024. Not as many as a lot of other people. I think I read like 81 books in 2024. And then in 2025, I only read 60, but some of those were long. I don't know how I only read 60 because I was constantly finishing books. Like I feel like I was reading more than I was last year, but apparently not. I read some really great books in 2025 and I'm excited to share those with you. So here we go. Alright, first up we have here the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson. I've started reading these books in 2020, I think. I read the first 2 and then I stopped reading them. So I decided in 2025 I was going to start out the year by actually finishing the series. And oh my gosh, I'm so happy that I did. Y'all, the series was so good. It's 4 main books, but then there's also, I think it was 3 or 4 novellas that go along with the series. And they were all so good. I mean, the novellas were a little hit or miss, but I also really enjoyed them. I feel like they really added to the character development and the storyline, all of that. I felt as though I actually grew up with these characters because I read all of those books. And yeah, it was a great ride. The book series follows Spencer. They live in this like underground planet and she really wants to become a pilot. Her dad used to be a pilot, but something happened and they thought that he was a traitor. So she's had a really hard time kind of like not being bullied for what her dad did, and so she finally gets to test to be a pilot, but then she fails. Like, they fail her, they deny her entry because of everything that happened with her dad. So she's obviously really sad. All of that, I did not mean to rhyme there. But she eventually does get into pilot school, flight school. So she's training along with all these other students. There's like 10 of them in their flight, and it's like rigorous training. So in this series, the reason they have to have pilots is because there's this race of aliens that are constantly coming to this planet and trying to kill them all. So the pilots are very important, and Spencer finally gets to become a pilot, and they kind of get thrown into this battle because they're like fresh out of school, barely even graduated, and they have to already go and like save these people. The series follows her development along with them figuring out what is going on with this alien race. She goes undercover in one of the books. It is wild, but I love this series. I don't want to spoil anything. It is so good. Like, as someone who loves space and things like Mass Effect and all of that, this sci-fi series is so much fun. It is young adult, and Brandon Sanderson really does such a good job. It was so much fun. Again, you get to grow up with these characters, even though it's just 4 books. Having the novellas in there added a lot to the development of the story and my enjoyment of these characters. Anyway, definitely one of my favorites of 2025 was just reading this whole series. So another series I reread in 2025 was the Bone Season series, and that is because The Dark Mirror came out, and I was so desperate for this book. After reading The Mask Falling, it ends on like a crazy cliffhanger, and we've been waiting for this book. Like, I was so excited to get this. So I reread The Bone Season, which I actually also read in 2020. That's the first time I read that series. Head over heels in love. Samantha Shannon is an incredible writer, and I'm not going to spoil anything because it's so good. I'm not good at explaining this series because I feel like so much goes into it. I cannot wait for the 6th book to come out. The series is perfect. Also, I actually got to meet Samantha Shannon last year. Like, it was so incredible. I felt really bad because apparently she had a really bad migraine, so you could kind of tell when she was signing books. I was like, she's probably really annoyed of me because I was just telling her. I tried to be very chill, but you know, sometimes you just get too excited when you're meeting your favorite author. But I got to meet Samantha Shannon last year, and it was such a dream come true. I left her a little letter and got to take a photo with her. Okay, oh my gosh, y'all, I need to talk about this series. So another incredible series that I read in 2025 was Tales of the Ketty J. These are 2 of the books in the series. I don't actually own the first one, and the other book doesn't really match these books. Holy moly, why is no one talking about this series? Y'all, it is so good. We have these like sky pirates. Is that what they're called? They fly like, you know, planes and like ships. These don't have the one of the actual Ketty J, but yo, this series is so good. It's funny, it's emotional. I cried. I laughed out loud on the train multiple times while reading these books. I don't know where these have been my entire life. The first book, I was kind of like a little iffy on, and then book 2, oh my gosh. Y'all, this series is absolutely incredible. I can't even really explain it. We're basically just... Sorry, there's some sirens. Great, they're outside my apartment right now. Anyway, this series is so good. So we're following this crew on the Ketty J, their ship, and like I said, they're pirates. And so there's a lot of just like craziness going on. I don't even know how to explain it. It's hilarious, it's beautiful, it's fun. I love all the characters. I cried like a baby while reading these books. It's just crazy. Like, if you love adventure, if you love sky pirates, what is the term? Is there a term? Definitely some of my favorite books of 2025. Like, I already can't wait to reread this series. Also, they didn't have these like anywhere. I had to get these on like thriftbooks.com because no one else was selling them. But then my library didn't have them either. Unreal. If you are looking for a fun adventure story about pirates in the sky who go on crazy adventures, there's like so many things happening, a great cast of characters, you need to read Tales of the Ketty J. The first book is called Retribution Falls, by the way. One of my other favorite books of 2025, which I think a lot of people have probably put this on their list, is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. We're following the character of Joan Goodwin, who has been obsessed with space, obsessed with the stars, wanting to go into space, all of that. So she comes across an advertisement looking for women that can work for NASA. They're looking for scientists. So she actually does get selected despite this pool of people being like gigantic. She starts training at the Johnson Space Center in Houston. And while she's there, she meets another woman named Vanessa, who is like an engineer, mechanic, all of that, like really talented. So on this journey of their training and everything, Joan really, she still really wants to go to space, but she also really cares about her niece. And so Joan does actually make it to space, I believe. Sorry, it's been a minute, but I'm pretty sure she makes it to space, and then she kind of decides it's not really for her. Once she comes back, her passion kind of changes slightly because she realizes she wants to be like on Earth with her niece, taking care of her. So Vanessa and her have been like intertwined on this journey, of course, and they start to fall for each other, a beautiful slow burn romance. Then we're also following Vanessa, who is up in space. It's going back and forth between like Joan's POV in the past and then Vanessa in the present. It is so good. I'm not doing this book justice. Their romance is beautiful. Again, it's like almost as good as Evelyn and Celia. A lot of people say it's better, which it might be, but for me. Anyway, so we're following Joan and Vanessa's relationship in this, also while their passion for space is growing and changing and their passion for each other is just beautiful. It is an emotional journey. I was sobbing at the end of this book. It is so good. I highly recommend this book. It was for sure one of my favorites of 2025. I think one of my only 5-star reads. I love this so much. I love horror books. We all know that. I love anything spooky, thrillers, all of that. But like in 2025, instead of just reading them during Halloween, I started reading them in the end of summer, like during the summer. I started to become obsessed with just reading horror books. Like that was my thing for months until Christmas time. It was kind of crazy. So what got me into it was because I started watching some documentaries about cults. So I was trying to find books that were similar to what I was watching. One of the books that came up, one of my absolute favorite reads of all time, is called Little Eve by Catriona Ward. She's an incredible author. I've read a few of her other books, but Little Eve is probably my favorite right now. It is so good. We're following this little girl. Her name is Eve, of course, and she is being raised in this really dark, very strange cult. It's just her and a couple other kids and then this guy, and it's really weird. And so she's, you know, grown up believing all of these things, but she kind of starts to question things because there's like a lot of abuse happening in this cult. It's really bad, really dark. I don't want to say too much, you know, trigger warnings, all of that. While she's here at this cult, there's a really brutal murder, and that's kind of how the book starts out, but then it goes back in time how they got to that spot. And now we have this investigator coming to check in and everything. I'm not doing a good job explaining it, but Little Eve was really good. That book absolutely took my breath away. I was obsessed with her. She was such a great character. It's very messed up, very twisty, again, very dark, but it's an incredible story, and Catriona Ward truly knows how to take you on such an intense, emotional, confusing, breathtaking journey. It's a really good book. Another favorite from 2025 was Salem's Lot by Stephen King. I have not read a lot of Stephen King books. I don't know why. I also read 11/22/63 this past year, which took me a long time. Almost put me in a reading slump. It was good, but it was just like really long and repetitive. So Salem's Lot is of course a vampire story. There's a movie about it, not as good as the book, I have to say. So we're following Ben Mears, who is an author. He returns to his home, Jerusalem's Lot. He's trying to find some history about the Marston house. That's like what he's trying to base his story off of. And the Marston house has now been bought by a new family or new people, and he's very intrigued about it because it's like has a pretty dark history, and the people who own it are literally creepy and weird. So Ben Mears is trying to get down to the bottom of everything, figure out what's going on. As this is happening, more and more people are disappearing, and it's getting pretty strange in the town. He realizes what's happening, and him and a couple other people try to like group together to figure it out and stop this darkness from consuming the entire town. Are they successful? You'll just have to find out. But I really enjoyed Salem's Lot. I thought it was such a great vampire story. It wasn't super cheesy. It was actually like dark and creepy, and I had a really fun time reading it. Okay, y'all, this next book, again, I was on a horror kick pretty much all of 2025. I read a bunch of books by CJ Tudor this past year, and my absolute favorite was The Drift. We're following a few different perspectives. We're following one character named Hannah who wakes up in this like bus crash, and then we're also following this other person named Meg who is stuck on this, what do you want to call it, like the tram or one of those, like, what is it called, a cable car. She's stuck on a cable car. And another character we're following is Carter, who's like in this weird like facility. There's a winter storm going on. So Hannah is with all these people who crashed on this bus, and they all have to try to survive, try to get help. And Meg is also stuck in this cable car with all these random people, and they also need to get help. And then Carter is kind of like, they're like safe, but there's a lot of weird stuff going on right now, and these people are all kind of turning against one another, and it's just intense. I don't want to say too much. The twist in this book, it was wild. Like, I was obsessed with this book. It's written extremely well, and it's very dark, very thrilling, and there's just a lot happening because these people are all trying to survive. And yeah, you don't really know like what is happening, and there's a lot of mystery behind it all, but the drift was really good. Again, I read a lot of CJ Tudor's books this past year. I enjoyed all of them very, very much, but the drift was probably my favorite. Those were my favorite books of 2025. I know it wasn't like a ton. A lot of them were series, so you know. But I thought I had a pretty good reading year despite it only being 60 books. I feel like I read a lot of books that I enjoyed. There were a couple of books in there that were like but most of my 2025 was reading scary books. I just became obsessed with reading horror, which I've always enjoyed it, but like last year for some reason that's just all I wanted to read for a really long time. It was hard for me to like get back into cutesy Christmas books, honestly. Those are my favorite books of 2025, and I think that is all I have for you for this video today. I apologize for rambling. This wasn't my best video because I feel like I was all over the place and didn't take great notes. But you know what? I'm just happy that I filmed this video, and I'm gonna hopefully put it out there for everybody. And I hope that 2026 is an incredible year for everyone. I think I might have a 2026 like anticipated releases or books I want to read in 2026 video. We're gonna see how it goes. I'm trying to be chill, you know, just get back into the flow of filming. But that is all I have for you today. If you like this video, be sure to give it a nice little thumbs up. If you want to keep following me on this booktube journey, please subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Instagram at erikaagobble. I don't even remember my outro. But thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!